All right, what is up, everybody? Wolfpac is back. Not quite causing mass destruction just yet, but it's on
Yo,
the way. We got a brand new recording format for you guys. We are out of the studio and we are in our bedrooms where we belong, where we can get all the good content out. So, yeah, without further ado, I am Devin.
yo, this is Joel. What's going on? Welcome back to Wolfpac AZ. Happy to have you along.
Yo, Corefish, like always, guys. Too sweet.
Too sweet.
And today we're gonna be reviewing Monday Night Raw as well as NXT for this week, uh, February. I believe it is the 24th, as well as NXT's February the 25th episode. So yeah, let's get into Monday Night Raw. Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and let you guys fill in where we've been the last
Yeah,
couple of weeks since the
It's been a
Royal
while.
Rumble.
it's been a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, we've been thinking about how we're going to move forward with the channel. It just makes a lot more sense to do it this way. It's way more convenient for us. It's going to let us upload a lot more content in the future.
A lot
Some
more.
Sporkle quizzes, top 10 greatest lists, top 10 worst lists too. So a little something for everybody. Um, but I think we're good to get into Raw Boys.
Yeah,
Sounds good to
definitely.
me.
Right on. So, where were we? How did Raw start for us? It was Logan Paul and I think
Logan, yeah.
CM Punk. Uh,
Eventually, yeah.
I mean, is this going to lead to a match? I'm not seeing it happen at Mania. I, I'm thinking maybe it's a Monday Night Weekly.
I think so. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna lead to anything huge, like a mania moment for
Do we
Paul and
know? Do we know if there's any
Punk.
Saturday night main events between now and then?
I don't think they've announced it,
They haven't announced
as
any.
far
Now,
as I've seen.
from what
Yeah.
I understand, I think maybe one's happening in June, and it's going to
Oh, then
it competes like directly with one of AEW's pay-per-views, I think. So
okay. Okay. Well, then I can go along with the fact that it could be a weekly televised match.
Yeah.
But well, I guess we'll have to play it out. If we get the impression that Paul pins Punk, I don't know, man. That seems like a big investment.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like the right call, especially with people calling that Punk is gonna win a title at Mania somehow. So it's yeah. I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening
I
either.
see tension happening in the chamber for both of them, kind of like
for
what
sure.
happened with Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. Back I can't remember how many years ago now, but when they were just taunting each other in the chamber and inside their pods and things like that.
Yeah,
So I think it's gonna lead more to something like that versus an actual Mania moment for Logan Paul or a pin over CM Punk.
that makes
I
tons of
yeah,
sense. That makes
I think
tons
that
of
makes lots of
sense.
sense. I want better for Punk at Mania, not necessarily for Paul, but
Yeah, I
um,
agree.
that's I don't know, like that's another year wasted for CM Punk. Um,
Exactly.
Definitely. Definitely. And we'll get more into detail about our Elimination Chamber and our thoughts about the pay-per-view coming up in another video.
Yep.
Um, so to keep things moving along, what was after the Logan Paul segment? Did we have
we'll
something
just
backstage or?
no, we had
No.
they went into the next match, which was a triple threat that was
Yeah.
Penta, Kaiser, and Pete Dunne.
How do we feel
So
about Penta? How do we feel about Penta on Raw?
I think Penta's doing great. He has a huge pop from everyone every time he comes out. His entrance is dope. Like they're treating him like a star, and I just hope it continues when his brother gets to WWE, if that's what
Hmm,
ends up happening, like everyone thinks. But based on track records of people that they've treated like stars, he might be delegated to tag team matches again, which he'll be happy with. Like if anyone saw Chris Van Vliet's interview with him, he loves
yeah,
tag teaming with his brother. So he'll be okay with it. But I don't know, they need to keep it consistent with him, especially how they're treating him like a star. He's opening how many Raws so far? I think every Raw that he's been on so far, he's open,
He's
like
been in
been
the,
the opening
yeah, the
match.
first, like the
Yeah.
first
He's
hour at least. Yeah.
he's the first match of the night.
Yeah. He's been the first match consistently since he's debuted, and that's singing huge praise for him. So hopefully it just continues. That's what I hope for anyways. He's putting on great matches with everyone. His match with Gable was crazy good, actually. It made both of
Amazing.
them look so good. So hopefully it just continues.
Well, they had Kaiser pick up the win, so I'm really hoping that we get the Kaiser Penta match because Kaiser is, I'm not sure if the crowd knows, but for you guys, he's my secret boy, and he's actually the guy I expect big things from going forward. But we can talk about that later on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But in terms of Penta, real quick, just to follow on Corey,
Yeah.
completely agree. I was scared that he would be lost in some sort of shuffle, whether that's because of like politics and not politics that would be in favorable of him. They
Yeah,
just overshadow.
Sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
My man was already on main event facing Grayson Waller, so
He's got to put his work in, dude. He's just,
no,
his
Yeah.
for
hours.
sure,
He's got to pay his dues.
I'm sure, and I'm sure it's better than having to go through NXT, where he's probably lost in a bigger shuffle. So
For sure. For sure.
only time will tell. I'm really, if it's not the tag team route that he goes down to in 6 months, I'm trying to think what the single success rate is for him. Does he join up a group? Does he, outside of Phoenix? Or who's the person that he can, start going after for a title or a big accomplishment? Maybe he might be in the Money in the Bank.
He's Judgment Day's newest member. No, I'm really glad that they're really giving him his flowers. A lot being featured very heavily, and about his brother coming in. I really hope maybe Penta gets some sort of singles title. Maybe you don't do that because if his brother comes in with it, let's say, I don't know, the next 8 months, then that would kind of imply that Penta would have a short reign. And the
Yeah,
last thing that you want to do is make that guy feel like a transitional champion of any kind.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
and we'll do we're gonna do NXT review in this video, as you can tell by the title, but um, Lucha Bros versus the Hardys.
Lucha Bro, and then anybody from TNA that you've also
Yeah.
opened up the door to. And
Yeah.
then not to mention that, guys, are we sleeping on No Catch Crew? And that's all I'm going to say on that because those guys are phenomenal. And
They're
Fraxium,
great. Yeah, they are great. They
and
are great.
Fraxium pop off. So all of that would be great. I would love this more so people are allowed to go into all of these brands and I guess TNA too. And it's not like downgrading. Like I'm not going to NXT to face the heavyweight, the global NXT global title, North American title, and it's a downgrade.
Right.
Yeah.
It's as meaningful as if I would go after the US title, IC title, and I want to see a progression of that. So yes, that would be an inclusion of that mindset. Is that big tag team match anywhere?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that's the triple threat match. I think we can all agree that Ludwig Kaiser was probably, like, without a doubt, the correct choice to win that one. Anybody have any
Yeah, this
thoughts
creates more
on
tension.
any thoughts on maybe where Pete Dunne can go after this?
I mean, he's kind of relegated to just mid-card, helping everyone boost their own storylines. So, I
Yeah.
mean, for now, that seems fine. I mean, it's not terrible for him. At least he's still in some kind of picture on, featured on a weekly show. Um, but yeah, I don't see anything big happening for him at the moment.
Do we
No,
think
he's just fodder.
we feel like
Yeah.
he's probably just on ice until Tyler Bate comes back? If Tyler Bate comes back, I don't see
Yeah.
I don't see WWE doing that guy too dirty because he's been in the business with them since he was 19.
Yep.
It'd be really shocking to see him get let go, but at this point, I'm a little bit concerned that he hasn't come back yet.
Yeah.
They were
It is,
starting, and it sucks because they were starting to pick up just a little bit of
yeah,
steam right then
a
and
lot,
there.
a lot of
And
steam.
so, yeah, it's really unfortunate. So I'm really
Yeah.
hoping for the best for both of them. So it's
Same.
done now, bait later.
Yep. So
Um,
the next thing that happened was an interview with Rhea Ripley with Jackie Redmond. So I mean it was a pretty short segment. EO interrupted and vowed to win the title next week. So
the
we
storyline
were all kind of shocked though because they're doing a
Two
title
days
match.
after the chamber. Like, what gives?
Yeah, after Chamber instead of on the actual Chamber card. So that was really surprising, especially with both of them being, champions in their own right. And, what do you guys think?
Maybe they were afraid that, I guess, depending on how you line up the chamber card, that the winner of the women's match would give an indication of who would win the chamber match. Um,
I mean,
but
it's
I
either
guess,
that or I mean, I understand why Royal Rumble and Chamber specifically are only 4 matches. Like the Rumble and the
gimmick
Chamber matches
matches.
are really long.
They're
So
long, yeah.
you don't want to risk cutting time out of anything. I hate that they had to shoehorn in Trish for the Tiffany match because that's the only reason it's happening is just to have Trish Stratus be featured in Canada,
I,
which
yeah,
I mean it's
exactly.
great on its own, I guess, but we got more important things I think we got to take care of in the wrestling world than just hometown features. Besides, Canada's had Trish Stratus like countless times, so I don't know why we need to do this, but
Yeah.
in any case, Joel was about to mention it. I think the story they're going to go with here is Rhea hasn't ever beaten Io Sky one-on-one. So,
No, no,
I mean,
not
it's
at all.
pretty,
Yeah, one on one.
it's really unfortunate that they're doing this. Like, I'm going to say early, even though technically Rhea's been like the world champion for almost 2 years, despite that little gap with Liv. It's you could do so much more with this. You could really do so much more with this story. If you want to have Rhea have her big win over Io, make it feel like kind of special, right? I feel like when they do this match, it's going to feel a bit like not a squash, but an afterthought, you know?
Yeah, it'll be an afterthought on the road to Rhea's WrestleMania encounter, which is really unfortunate because that would be the second time in 2 months where Io is basically beaten in a women's title match. I know she was
Yep.
beaten recently by Liv on Saturday night's main event, and now with this with Rhea, so which very unfortunate because I think there is a big push for Io to get her Mania moment sooner rather than later, and she's really earned it. I mean, if we're talking about people who've held that division on their backs, like yeah, you can say what you want about Rhea and Liv and all these other people, but like Io is on that list. No,
Yeah,
like no
definitely.
doubt.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
after that, we had LWO, Cruz Del Toro and Walking Wild,
yep.
and Woods and Kofi Kingston. So we can go over that real quick.
Yeah, do you guys
So
feel like they've kind of maybe squandered this New Day thing? Because they were starting super strong a few months ago with the whole Big E rundown. Like, I feel like they kind of let that
Yeah.
cool off for no reason.
I think the lack of Big E is just hurting. That's probably what it is. The fact that we don't see him announcing or displaying his dismay
I
is
agree.
probably what's really hurting.
I
So
agree.
Yeah.
We haven't
there's
seen him at
no
all.
heat, and then these guys don't have heat. LWO doesn't have heat. They don't have anything going for them. So I think this was the right call. If you're going to do anything, they need to be winning.
So the issue is that they just don't have direction for them at the moment. Like they
Yeah,
turned
they don't.
heel to do nothing basically,
To-
which is really unfortunate because they're great heels. Obviously, they have heat. People booed them. They had their moms come in. They had heat on X as well with Big E's fiance or I think girlfriend or fiance.
yeah,
Yeah, so they had heat from that as well. So it was building really nicely, and then
Makes me feel like everyone else has
nothing.
heat, but they don't.
Yeah,
yeah. They're being a bit too. They're being too funny with
They're
their
yeah,
still
heat.
funny.
they are. They're funny heels. Yeah,
They're the funny New Day heels that
yeah,
got them to babyface that kept them on
exactly.
that big
Yeah.
run for 10 years. So they're kind of just, and then I don't know like what you do. They're very colorful, very flashy. They're all these things. They
Yeah.
need to, if they're going to be serious, maybe they should just go and kill Penta
Like Street Profits,
or
basically.
something. Like Street
Yeah.
Profits is
They need
exactly what I think
to.
Like
because
the
Yeah,
Street
they're just,
Profits are doing great heel
yeah.
work right now. And but that's for another time. So also something that happened that I saw was that they took out Rey Mysterio as well. So Rey is going to be out for the
Ooh.
foreseeable future. So he's going to be off TV as well. So I think that is something important that they kind of didn't really touch on. They like mentioned it really quickly.
Yeah, it
Like
was uh it was like a
Cole
couple
mentioned
weeks
it.
ago. It was a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago at the very, very end, and that
hmm
was like that was it.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, they're trying to keep the heat going, but they need to do something with them. They need to get them back into the either tag team championship realm, title picture, something like that. Just they need to do more with it. Like their heat is still great, but they can't let it falter or die out at all. So,
Yeah.
next thing was Tozawa versus Gunther, actually,
That was
which
pretty good.
yeah,
It's pretty good.
which
Yeah.
Tozawa
Three
actually
minutes.
almost
He got
beat
some in.
Gunther.
He got his
Yeah.
licks in.
This
Yeah,
was a
me and sorry, Joel, I'm gonna cut you off. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. This was a WWE speed match.
Basically,
Essentially, yeah.
it's a little bit of overtime. Yeah, me and Christian were watching this, and and Gunther is talking about how he's handpicked somebody. And I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, like this is gonna be fucking Tozawa. Don't get your hopes up for anybody. Like it's gonna be him. And then his music started playing. I'm like, perfect. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that Gunther went out of his way to mention uh how real Tozawa actually is and all the work he put in to get to WWE because he used to be pretty fluffy. He used to be a big guy. He
Yeah.
not only did he cut weight, but he got shredded to join
Hmm.
WWE. And with the way that Vince was using him, I mean, everybody saw how he was used, and even the way he's been used. The difference I would say between how Vince was using him and how Triple H has been using him is Tozawa seems to be a little bit more gung ho about doing the funny stuff that
Yeah.
they do. Um,
It's much more appreciative.
yeah, like I mean, it's very obvious that Triple H respects the guy and he sees the talent that Tozawa has. And I mean, the match with Gunter was proof of that. I'm glad he got to get his
Yeah.
licks in. I'm glad we had a fake out finish where we thought he could potentially actually do a roll up and win,
Yep.
despite the boot to the face. Because that first boot to the face, I thought that was it. I really thought that was it. So
Yeah, I
thank you.
think this did a great job of showing a chink in Gunther's armor basically
It's
because
always the
he was
underdogs.
overly confident about it. So it says a lot because they're showing that he can possibly be beat by Jey Uso for the non-believers in Jay. So the people that are still writing Jay off even after all this time, after he became main event Jey Uso, like the non-believers, they're showing that it's possible essentially because even Tozawa had a chance basically against him, and they kind of showcase this after the match with the beatdown that Gunther gave um
Otis.
to Otis and to Tozawa as well. So I think it did a great job of showcasing that at least and actually, just expanding on that essentially.
Is always a crown on a run soon.
Yeah.
And let's
And
go. Let's
then I,
push.
I have to be the one that talks about this, but the
Yes.
next match was my girl getting squashed essentially.
It was so
Dakota
short.
Kai
In a
versus
match
Ly.
that
It was
I don't
super
get,
short.
this whole thing
I
just kind of bothered me. This
Yeah, I don't
whole like
understand it.
last few
It
weeks
makes
have
no
bothered me.
sense.
Why did
Uh
Niall eliminate Valkyria? That's the thing that's been
yeah,
bothering me the
yeah,
whole time.
yeah. So just Dakota Kai versus Lyra for the Intercontinental Championship. It was a rematch of the finals for that championship, and Lyra just beat her really, really quickly.
Probably five
It
minutes at
was very,
most.
yeah, it was very
5'10".
disappointing. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. They keep on showcasing Lyra. Like, nothing against Lyra at all. She's great. She's great in the ring. She's, a very strong technical wrestler. She's awesome. I just don't know why they keep on treating Lyra at such a higher caliber versus Dakota when Dakota has done more. Maybe because injuries, I guess. I
It's
guess that makes
just
sense because
it's just the
Dakota's
yeah.
really,
It's
yeah,
Well,
really,
unfortunate.
Triple
really injury
H.
prone unfortunately. But to have it be a squash match after a great finals that they had, it was just really disappointing.
Yeah, it's this the squash is
Yeah,
the thing that I have a problem with. Not
yeah.
necessarily the winner because at the end of the day, Lyra Valkyria has been like Becky Lynch. So
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Well, and like my only issue with the Lyra thing, just real quick, was that there's not really a pop. It doesn't seem like people are behind her for some reason. So I don't know. Maybe it needs to transition sooner than later.
She is
But
not generating the pop out, but she has been doing a good job to get people
yeah,
invested
yeah,
in her match.
I
So
agree.
there's
Yeah,
still a disconnect there, but I do agree that she was the right pick there overall.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Next thing, we had Braun Breaker versus Dom Mysterio. Just real quick, what did you guys think about that? It was a quick match though. or a quicker match, anyways.
I mean, that's fine. It seems like they're going to be feuding with Braun for the foreseeable future. I don't know if one of them will take the IC title off of them, but I don't see that being the case. Other than
Yeah.
that, we just are still seeing the dissension with Judgment Day and
Mhm.
whether they do get a new member, and it's a +1. Does Balor get
Yeah.
kicked out? What's
Yeah.
next?
Yeah, Balor's not gonna. He just hates the idea of getting somebody else.
It's Hideo
Yeah.
So,
Itami. It's Kenta.
yeah,
They also
Kenta.
did, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was like a the demon picture in the background. So people
Yeah,
think that the demon might be coming back against Braun.
But that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But next thing, Cody Rhodes responded to The Rock. What did you guys think?
he did more shit talking to Seth Rollins than I think he did responding to The Rock. Obviously, because he's
Yeah,
not going to respond until the Chamber. But
yeah,
um, yeah, it was very good promo between him and Seth. Cody made the perfect points, the exact points that he needed to make. Seth Rollins wants to come out here and, you know, why are you trying to be a corporate champion? Well, I don't know, probably the same reason like you were trying to be a corporate champion, dude.
Yeah.
So,
Seth did the exact same thing.
like
No,
Literally
actually,
turned
for
on the
real.
shield to do that. Like,
That's what yeah, the sentiment all the way through was with that, in regards to Seth not wanting Cody to be a sellout, but then Cody being like, "You expect me to take that advice from you?"
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Okay, we're back. We're back. Little hiccups there. But it's all good. We're here. Seth Rollins, being a huge hypocrite. Cody Rhodes having absolutely none of it because he's low key a hypocrite himself. No. If he's really sly, really sneaky, we'll see if we get any Cody Rhodes heel work out of this. But where do you guys think this is going to be leading? Seth Rollins versus Cody at Mania? Question mark.
I mean, it's only if Seth wins. But I don't know. I think it's just Seth trying to reason with Cody, I guess, even though he's done the exact same thing that it might be leading to for Cody. So I don't think it leads. I don't think it really lead. Maybe a couple matches, but that's about it. That's about it, anyways. I don't think it takes it to Mania.
I don't even
Or
see Seth as one of the front runners to win the
No.
chamber. So
nope.
I think it's um Punk or Cena, but in regards to that, I think they're just like the pieces. I think when you have a chamber match that's set up like this, you're always going to have people you should have an encounter where all six of them should state something to the world title or to
Yeah,
the champion. We
agreed.
have history, or I'm going to win, or I'm going to, something along the lines that makes them all have a connection leading into the chamber. So I think that's just kind of what this was.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
pretty much it.
Do we think do, do we think Seth doubles down and he becomes Rock's corporate champion?
Oh God, again.
Again, for Rock
No,
of all fucking people.
I
He'll,
honestly think Cody could actually do it, and we get
Really?
Homelander Cody at least initially, and then other
just bought behind him,
yeah,
Oh
exactly.
man.
Yeah,
just bought industries, he's
I
got
mean
all the
people
power.
honestly people aren't that like thrilled with Cody's run at the moment.
Yeah.
Like it's because it's I don't know. It
Com
was
com
predictable, obviously, because he had to pull it off, finish the story. And then there hasn't really been anything super
compelling since
memorable
then.
at the moment. Yeah. So I mean him doing that, that would refresh everything for him and make his reign more memorable. So
For
I
sure.
think him doing it, at least initially, and then maybe someone talking to him, or maybe it just being a ruse for him to get that backing from The Rock initially, and then him going back to being a face. Something like that could happen, or he could just turn heel and have heel Cody for a while, which wouldn't be a terrible thing with the current landscape. Anyways, I don't think it would be terrible. So
I agree.
that's what I think it is. Yeah.
I agree. That'd be really cool. We'll get a little bit more in depth in our Elimination Chamber preview episode.
Yep.
But for now, let's go ahead and move on to our main event for this Monday Night Raw.
Final match.
Wow, what a surprise. We got
Yeah, that was
Uh,
Bianca and Naomi dropping the belts to Liv and Raquel to become
Not happy.
three-time tag team champions. Unfortunately,
That's
Bianca
right.
Belair is Joel's captain for our predictions league this
Oh
year.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, but it's all good because Bianca will be at the chamber, and of course that opens her up to
Yep.
singles competition. So, I think everybody
Yeah.
else in our league is a little worried that that might be the case. Of course, there are stirrings that Bianca might win the chamber because that might be the
Yeah.
plan. Bianca
Ew.
versus Rhea.
Gross.
I
No.
think that's a
I don't
match
want
that
that.
deserves a much bigger build for sure.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Then Chamber. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how else you go about it. Maybe Bianca goes through winning Queen of the Ring.
Maybe.
But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
also
That I like that a lot. That
but
I
that's
like that a
also
lot.
that's also an accomplishment based earning. So what would be the difference between her winning Chamber?
Because you have like 2 months, right? Because it's King and Queen of the Ring usually happens like in May, and then it's for SummerSlam, a match that
It,
happens at Summer. So you give
I
them.
hope that's the case. I really hope that they
That's
still
what
do that
happened
because
with Randy
right,
and
right.
Gunther, right?
But and
Or
I'm
for
hoping
Gunther and Damien
and,
or whatever it was.
Nia. It was Nia Jackson Gunther that won
And then they did, and then when Gunther won his match, they did Gunther versus Damien at SummerSlam. So that gives them 2.5 or so months to build up a Rhea and Bianca like something like genuine. Because I mean, yeah, she can earn it, um, but you want to give it time to like flesh out the rivalry. If you do it
yeah.
now, not only is there not a whole lot of time between now and Mania, Bianca's caught up in this whole storyline with Naomi and Jade. So you gotta pay
Yeah.
that off first before you start giving us dream matches.
No, absolutely.
I was actually okay with Liv and Raquel winning it. Like it just made sense at this point, to be honest.
You
And then
gotta you have to spark a reason for this whole Naomi Bianca Jade thing to really go off.
yeah, I agree with it. So I think it was a good choice. I don't know. Naomi didn't win the title with her, so her just
Yeah,
replacing it kind of made it like
it was
more
weird.
lackluster
It was really weird.
because she just stepped in and was like, "Oh, hey, I'm your friend. I'll be your tag team champion partner now."
You're
Just
like, oh yeah, this is totally a Freebird rule, even though there's no
yeah,
It's
faction
not.
here.
It's like
exactly.
it's a new tag
So
team.
I was okay with Liv and Raquel taking the titles off of it.
Yeah,
It was a big surprise. You know, I wasn't expecting it on a weekly. So I think I think it'll hopefully lead to somewhere interesting because now Judgment Day has titles again. So and that's what they've been saying. So I think
yeah.
that it's gonna reinflate Judgment Day and like take them to another level.
I hope so.
Maybe Finn wins the title off of Braun. Because the demon does come back, like we were saying earlier in the
Wow.
episode. I honestly I would love that, but you guys know how I feel about Braun Breaker, so yeah.
I mean, I think there's talks of a multi-man match for Braun Breaker at Mania.
Someone's getting the multi-man.
So I could see. I mean, it's gonna be Braun obviously as a champion. Finn Balor, it seems they're teasing. Probably Sheamus will be thrown in there. Maybe Penta would be sick. Yeah, I think we'll be seeing that. Probably all three of them, honestly. Penta, Pete, and Ludwig all make it in. Ludwig's got his heat with Sheamus already, so why not just throw all that in? Makes a whole lot of sense. It'd be really cool. Multi-man matches at Mania are always sweet, especially when something's on the line.
I
No,
would
for
So,
be
sure.
sad for Sheamus to not win it again though.
Well,
for him to like, for
he's
him to
never won the
never
IC
get it would
title.
suck. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
it would really. I mean, it just makes sense at this point to have if you're gonna have him win it, you do it on the grandest stage of them all.
Yeah.
but that's what yeah, and that's the thing
But
is
that's
like
what I'm saying is I
with
would be sad for
Finn,
it to not happen.
I'm more thinking. I think right now they're gonna have a feud with Judgment Day, but I really hope that Sheamus is the end all for Braun
And I'll
Breaker
be all for the Mania
to
match for
drop.
Braun. Yeah. I
David,
mean,
oh,
Sheamus
Sheamus.
deserves it at this point.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
he needs to finish and become a Grand Slam
Finish the
champion.
story.
Yeah, he needs to finish his story
Yeah.
because like we thought it was gonna happen with him and
At
Drew.
39.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
39.
Oh,
But
that
it
was
didn't
great.
happen for some reason. They didn't pull the trigger. Even though he was immensely over, like we heard it in the stadium. We
I
heard it live,
mean,
like how crazy everyone was for him to win
I
the IC titles finally.
I will say that match absolutely did wonders for Gunther, retaining against
It
two of
did.
like the heaviest hitters.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, That was you can make an argument that that could have been like the apex of Sheamus's journey to get to the IC title, but I think
Yeah.
people still want to see it happen. I think people would still pop, you know, immensely to see him win that belt.
I
So
would.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them for not necessarily doing it at 39, but I really hope they're planning on doing it
I
eventually.
think you're right. Lately, it's been that because we're never going to see Chad Gable back there.
No,
That's for
maybe
sure.
Unfortunately.
probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
At this point, you're at this point, we skimmed over it real quick, but I really want to mention that Alpha Academy is going to be facing War Raiders next week for the tag team titles. So they could have more of a success than Chad Gable is at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ivy Nile attacked Lyra and Dakota, so it seems like everyone but him is strong.
Yeah.
That's probably the story they're telling. That his new group can be successful without him. Whereas with Alpha Academy, he felt like he was the only reason they had like any showing at all.
Relevancy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still want to know what's happening with this like lucha thing that he was told about.
Yeah.
Hopefully they end that soon because it's people are gonna not care
Nonsense.
when he finally does it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so we'll see. But
Yeah, so that's
Oh,
Raw. A lot of good stuff to potentially come out of it as long as they pay it all off, of course.
yeah,
Um,
so right
stories
now
have been
we
great so far.
have
So we'll
right
see.
now we have the tag team title match and and Rhea and Io and the Elimination Chamber fallout for Raw next week.